On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are fixing the Broncos offense with two key things that can be done to really help jumpstart this offense. And we're going to do it with our guy, Brian Baldinger, who's joining us. And then we're taking a look at the New York Football Giants who are coming into town. What are the keys to victory? Big show starts now. A giant week, a giant day, and a giant show on today's DNVR Broncos podcast because we are talking about Broncos and the New York Football Giants, and we're doing it live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. And we are the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Place a $5 bet after depositing $10, and boom, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets in your account. Henry, how we doing today?
Not great. Not great.
Do we just want to leave it at that?
Yeah. Well, I'll add, still sick, no rest, bad things happening, just not good.
Yeah, not good. We'll leave it at that. I hope everything,
I'm being told to leave it at that,
including from your physical well-being to everything else, gets better in the next as soon as possible. I'm happy you're here with me right now. Maybe these next 59 minutes can distract you with some football
I really
fun.
hope so.
Talking about the second best team in the NFL, the Denver Broncos, who are 4-2. And Henry, let's try to lighten your mood by some good news.
Good luck.
2 hours ago, Jonathan Cooper named AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Mm-hmm. This marks the first time in Broncos history that they have had back-to-back AFC Defensive Player of the Week winners. Last week, it was Nick Bonito. This week, it's Jonathan Cooper. And the amazing thing to me, you think about the history of the Denver Broncos, how many Hall of Famers they have on defense, how many All-Stars, All-Pros, Pro Bowlers they have on defense. This is the first time that has happened. And we talked yesterday about just how good and historic and special this defense is. This is another cap in their feather. Yeah, no, feather in their cap. For just how special
feather
they
in the
are.
cap.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. I would good for Jonathan. I mean, that's a guy who just deserves good things to happen to him. Just like a good dude.
He really is.
You know, sometimes it's funny with some of those guys who are just like so mean on the football field. He's like a yeller. He's like a screamer. Like you just picture him like the entire time. But then off the field, he's so friendly, and for him to have gone through all the things he's gone through and get to the point where he's at now, really cool to see. Happy for him. I don't know what the little trophy looks like for that, but I'd imagine that's just like a nice thing to put in a trophy case.
Is there a trophy?
There's got to be. If not, I'd make my own.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be some little thing they give you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, please do.
Actually, you could go to the Broncos Twitter page, and they made a graphic for it, and it might include a trophy for it. I'm not sure. But, Henry, this just points to how special this Broncos pass rush is. Nick Bonito leads the NFL with 8 sacks. Jonathan Cooper is second on the Broncos with 4.5 sacks. And you have Justin Sternad at 3.5. John Franklin Myers at 3. Zach Allen at 2. Jaquan at 2. Innie at 2. And then a lot of people with 1 to half a sack as well. The pass rush is coming from everywhere, and everyone is feasting right now. Jonathan Cooper is on pace for a 13.5 sack season. Yeah. That reminds me of the season Nick Bonito had last year, 13.5, which was absolutely incredible. Nick Bonito's on pace for 22.5 sacks, which would be the franchise or the NFL record. Jonathan Cooper's on pace for 13.5. This is just insane what this pass rush is doing. These two are on pace for 36 total sacks.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I wonder what the most sacks teammates have ever gotten is.
So 36 split into 2 would be 18. That would be the record. It'd have to be.
You would think it would have to be.
Because Von Miller, I mean, there's only a handful of guys that have more than 18 on their own.
Right.
Von Miller's one of them. He did that with Doomerville, I believe, and Doomerville didn't have 17 and a half to be there. Strahan obviously holds the record with 22 and a half. Did he have a teammate that went for 13 and a half?
Osi Umenyiora? I doubt it.
Yeah, my guess is no.
Yeah. This is one of those that's like, it's two things. It's the first guy and the second guy, and that makes it a tough search. And I wish that I could justify spending an hour going and figuring that one out.
Not
Maybe
today?
next week, if they're still on the same pace,
today?
maybe we'll talk then.
We'll talk then.
No award. It's just kind of a recognition.
We gotta make
it's
him
mental.
one.
It's mental.
Yeah.
If somebody wins something, there has to be like a little thing you put on your shelf.
Well, what should we make for him? I mean, we can give one to Nick for last week. We can give one to Jonathan Cooper for this week. We can probably give one to Pat Surtain in a couple of weeks when he plays the Raiders and has a pick six against Geno Smith.
If you have the truck nuts, they put on the thing that hangs. That should be the award because it's a sack. You have sacks.
Okay.
But
there's one idea. Can we do better?
We can definitely do better. Truck nuts might be the worst invention in the history of mankind.
I think that's the way we go. Honestly.
Wow! Here's your sack of nuts here, Jonathan Cooper. Congratulations,
job, Jonathan.
You get these nuts.
Hang these wherever you may.
Wow!
Oh my gosh! But it's not just an award for sacks you hear. So I see where you're going, but it's not just an award for sacks because Pat Surtain might win one for having a pick six. What are you gonna get him for a pick six?
I won't say here.
Right.
Smart.
Here's one idea. So StatHead, awesome stat search tool. You can use it to find the most players on a team in a single season matching a criteria. So in theory, you could say, okay, teammates with 12 sacks.
Yep.
How many times does that happen?
Right.
And you could kind of like narrow it down
Yep.
and then go hand by hand through each of them.
Yeah.
At some point, we're going to get an answer to this.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's a good way, and we will do that in the next week or so. Heck, maybe Nick Benito's winning this award, but it's really cool. This is the first time this has ever happened in Broncos history. I don't even know if this has ever happened in NFL history. We'll have to do some digging on that. But Henry, there's other news that we got to get to. This is a very busy day on today's show.
Busy.
So many transactions yesterday on the Broncos. They made 6 moves yesterday. We're going to talk about the biggest ones. The Broncos placed Garrett Wallow on injured reserve.
Yep.
More of a special teams guy. Backup inside linebacker. He had a hamstring injury. He's out at least the next 4 weeks. They signed J.T. Gray to the 53-man roster. You and I, that they made that a move official yesterday. We broke that down and how much of a help that could be for special teams yesterday. They signed Calvin Throckmorton to the 53-man roster. Former Saint, been with the Broncos for a while now, bounced from practice squad to the active roster, practice squad. Now he's officially on the 53-man roster, and I feel like you're a big fan of the Throckmorton.
Yeah, so he played really well in the preseason. He played well enough that he deserved to be on an active roster. The thing is, for a veteran like that, you don't have to have him clear waivers if you want to move him to the practice squad. So just for roster math reasons, you put him on the practice squad to start the year. He was active last week, right?
Yes.
So you you lose Ben Powers, and that means you need one more guard to serve as a reserve. So he gets the uniform last week, and then you lose Parrott. Now all of a sudden he's potentially in the starting lineup, but we'll talk later.
Well, and you just mentioned it. That was the final big-time move and the biggest move the Broncos made yesterday. Matt Parrott put on IR. So he suffered a knee injury, and according to Mike Gliss, he actually suffered this injury 3 snaps in to the game. And so I am going to change my feelings, and I think I'm going to try to convince you. I think we should change our feelings on how Matt Parrott played, because obviously 3 penalties in the first half. It did not look good. It did not look good for the entire offensive line. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But if he suffered a knee injury that is going to put him on IR to cost him at least a month of the season, if not more, I give him a lot of credit, one, for playing on that, and I do give him a lot of slack for not looking the best. One, his first start of the season, and 2, playing through an injury.
Yep, I think so. And I like Matt Parrott. I don't think we'll be seeing a lot of. There's no need to go back and really evaluate the game when he's going to be out he doesn't really factor into the rest of the conversation. Hopefully we get to see him again in training camp. And if that's the case, we can talk then.
Yep, exactly. And as Angel Angel, our friend, says, Parrot gets the big cojones award.
Yeah,
that's
tell Yaya.
That's
Yaya.
the truck nuts award.
We'll get that one
here.
figured out.
That's a good call there, Angel. And shout out really quick to everyone tuning in with us on the Toyota chat on the podcast side of things, where you don't actually get to watch, but you get to listen. That's where the OG of this podcast started. And also shout out to everyone tuning in on YouTube later. We really appreciate everyone. If you're tuning in live, hit us with that thumbs up. If you're tuning in later on YouTube, also hit us with a thumbs up and make sure to be active in both chats. And then also, if you're listening on Spotify, hit us with a 5-star review. We really appreciate it. Also, Apple Podcasts and anywhere you listen to podcasts, we really, really, really appreciate it. That's a free way to join us. And also, if you want to upgrade, you can join and become a supporters club member where you have exclusive emojis. We really appreciate all of you there. So,
and if you only like us a little bit, then at least just give us a like and a comment.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I like that a lot. And actually, as someone in the Toyota chat, if you here could scroll up a little bit, says, not DePot says, Parrot gets the Alex Singleton Award. That's a better name for it. Yeah, because, of course, Alex Singleton played nearly an entire game with the torn ACL last year.
Bring Alex over to him?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just gift Alex.
Congrats, this is yours now.
You get Alex for a day. Please return him tomorrow at this time. So, Henry, I got to ask, this is going to be the third straight week that the Broncos have had a different starting left guard. How concerned are you about this?
Wow, that's a tough one. The fact that we think Ben Powers is going to be back toward the end of the year makes me less concerned. There's a lot that goes into this conversation. I think you start with, what are your expectations for the Broncos? And to me, I would love to win the AFC West, of course. You get into the playoffs, I'm going to say, good job. You did again, back-to-back years, still building. And I think that you can patch this spot up pretty easily over the course of the rest of the season. And, you're 4-2 right now. I think you find your way in. If you're talking AFC West, if you're talking Super Bowl teams need everything to go right for them, for the most part. There are a couple who maybe are just so good that they can have some players missing and things go wrong and they can power right through. It's a very short list of those, though. Typically, you need everything to go right. And this might be for a team like the Broncos, who, they're not a Super Bowl favorite. They're a Super Bowl, I don't know, I guess it's possible. And something
top 10, but not top 3.
Yeah, exactly. This might be enough to say, you're going to lose 1 or 2 games between now and the end of the year because of it. And that could be the difference.
Then that's a huge worry. In my
so
opinion,
in that way,
if that's how you put it. And Henry, I completely agree with you. Last week when we had the live show in London, which by the way was so freaking cool, first of its kind for all city, and of course DNVR. Shout out to so many people that came in and packed that. That was just an awesome experience. Yes.
I heard from Brian yesterday. He said he hasn't even had a sniffle in 4 years.
Oh, so Brian, it wasn't.
The case is now reopened, and the top suspect crossed off. I'm going with.
Why don't you just go with your girlfriend? I mean, you went after a listener yesterday.
I would never do that.
She's
She's too close. She could really come after me. How about Neil?
He only picks on people his own size.
Neil in Scotland.
Okay,
when I think of
going after another listener.
I love that you were just in an international airport where you're cutting out from anybody.
Right, new top prospect.
Yeah, Neil.
New top suspect. Yeah,
Neil, defend yourself.
I feel like Scottish people, it's not that they have so many germs. It's that they're so tough up there they wouldn't even notice.
That's a
very
good point.
Easy to pass things along.
Okay, so you're blaming him, but then giving him credit too. Okay.
Oh yeah, Neil knows I like him. I just think new top suspect. Spent a lot of time with Neil.
Shout out to Neil. But in that live show, we were asked this exact question: how concerned are you? This was before Matt Parrott was hurt. How concerned are you about Ben Powers being out for the next couple of games? And I think we all said the Broncos will be okay. Henry, whether it was because of the Jets, whether it was because maybe the entire Broncos offensive line had the sniffles, that's not actually the case.
No.
Just a bad day for all of them, or whether it was because they were missing Ben Powers, it was a massive issue that they did not have Ben Powers last week. Again, whether it was causation or correlation, it was really bad. And so, now they thought Matt Parrott was the second best option and the best option to fill in for Ben Powers. Now you have to go with your third best option, which, as you mentioned, Might be Calvin Throckmorton, a guy that was on the practice squad. It might be a tackle that you're putting in at guard there, which obviously not playing a natural position for that person. I'm very worried about what this means, but what it means for the next 2 months, because like you said, Broncos expect to get Ben Powers back by December. So in the playoffs, everything should be good, but seeding, this could impact seeding. And that was not my answer a week ago, but after seeing what it looked like without Ben Powers, I am concerned about what this means. And so, Henry, I want to know from you, who will be the Broncos starting left guard this week? Who is their third string left guard that's going to plug that? And we will get Henry's answer. Let me know in the Twitter chat and below who you want to be that starting left guard for this week and moving forward. And I am going to give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365 when you do that. And shout out to Bet365. If you want to get in the game, place a $5 bet after depositing $10, and you are going to get $200 in bonus bets, but that's just simply scratching the surface of everything Bet365 offers, specifically for football and the NFL. On Sundays, if you can get the SGP Sundays offer by placing a qualifying parlay bets totaling 20 or more on Sunday's NFL games and get up to $25 in bonus bets. Terms and conditions apply, and make sure to use that code DNVR365. Plus, Bet365 is all about not being ordinary. They have bets for everything. We've got Thursday night football tomorrow. Get in on that if you want. Also Saturday, all college ball, and Sunday, Broncos, a 7-point favorite against the Giants. So if you like that, take it, and make sure you use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Place a $5 bet after depositing $10. You can get $200 in bonus bets. Win or lose. Must be 21 and older. Physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, once help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
And shout out to Mac Weldon. Just the most comfortable stuff for the people like us who spent a lot of time in airports, a little extra time because of the connection, even though there was a direct flight available. Maybe that
was the reason for the sickness.
The people in Texas, do they get people sick? I mean, it's just so comfortable, and there's so many temperature changes. Because like you're on the train from London to the airport, and you're like, oh, it's so cold. Then you get to the airport and you're like, oh, this is kind of warm. And then it's like, it's just up and down and up and down. You get to Texas and you're walking through their tunnel from the plane. You're like, holy hell, is it always like this? And so having something from Mac Weldon, the Cool Max technology, all the different stuff they have over there that just helps you feel better, feel drier, feel comfy, feel cool. Breathable clothing, it's the best, and they've got just about everything that you could find. It doesn't look all techie. They look like regular clothes, which is part of the appeal. Only you know that you're so comfortable. So for over 10 years, they've designed timeless, innovative menswear to help you move through the day with confidence, even if you're just hanging in your underwear. Get breathable clothes you can feel comfortable in all summer. Go to macweldon.com. Get 20% off your first order of $125 or more. Promo code DNVR. That's MACKWELDON.com. Promo code DNVR.
And shout out to everyone that's tuning in with you, including our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. All right, Henry, who will be the starting left guard?
I'm going with Palcho again.
Your guy.
I went with Palcho last week. I'm going with Palcho again. I won't say that this has been, we all love the 63 is eligible thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we've gotten his best this season compared to what we've seen in the past, but I still think when you've got a guy like that, a prospect like that, somebody who I've said over and over again I think is going to be a starter in the NFL, you got to get him on the field. And don't forget that this isn't the first time this happened. Last year, Mike McGlinchey got hurt, and so what the Broncos do? They put Matt Parrott in, and we had the exact same conversations we've been having, and I had the same thoughts like, I love Matt Parrott, but I would have gone with Palcho. What happens? They wind up going from Parrott to Palcho. They wind up finding something in Palcho who I thought played just as well as Mike McGlinchey had.
And he was really good.
Then wound up with an ankle injury before McGlinchey got back. McGlinchey takes over, and we never talk about it again. To me, see what Palcho can do. And I loved what Calvin Throckmorton did in the preseason. We talked a lot about him at the time. He played really well. He's a veteran, but just that upside there. Unless they really know something, it's all Palcho to me, just like it probably would have been last week. Definitely would have been last week.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is bad for the 63 is eligible crowd because Henry, I think 63 will not be eligible all game because he is going to be the Broncos starting left guard. I agree with you. And according to the Broncos unofficial depth chart updated as of yesterday, Palcho is the backup to Peart at left guard. So if they're just following their own depth chart, as unofficial or official as it may be, it will be Palcho. And I think it should be too.
Was Throckmorton on there?
He's not.
Because they hadn't put him on the 53 yet.
Yep, exactly.
Interesting.
So we might be looking at 79 as eligible if it's Throckmorton coming in to be that extra offensive lineman, or one that I want to see, 73 is eligible.
Cam Fleming?
Frank Crum. Come on, give some respect to the Wyoming people.
Also love Frank.
They're not the one getting you sick, so you can give them credit.
We're all in on Wyoming again.
And man, I'd just love to see big old Frank Crum out there. 73 is eligible. So that's who we think. Knowing how it went last week at practice, we will not be able to say anything until the game because I knew Wednesday that it was going to be Matt Peart. Was not allowed to say anything about it. No one was allowed to say anything about it, so we probably won't be able to. It's going to be a great surprise for everyone when 63 is playing left guard on Sunday. So, Henry, that's one move that the Broncos now have to make. To maybe help the offense is make a change at left guard. We were going to talk about should they make a change. Well, now they have to because Peart is no longer on the 53-man roster. There's one more move that I need to see the Broncos make to help their offense, not just this week, but definitely this week against the Giants, but moving forward as well. And I'm curious if you have any other things that you demand you need to see from Sean Payton. And before we get to that, I just want to give a shout out to the Toyota chat really quick. I don't know what it was. There was like a 10-minute stretch where so many people were just like, I love this show. You guys are the best. And I'm just like, wow,
that was weird.
This is random love at 11 minutes to 21 minutes of this show. So shout out to you guys. Really appreciate all of that.
Did Spano just buy a bunch of bots?
Maybe. And if so, shout out Spano. Regardless, shout out Spano. How about that? The big boss. Yeah, shout out to BSN. If you were there on Friday night, you got some little insight on that. But Henry, the one thing that I need to see is I need to see Sean Payton give Bo what he likes the most. And one of the things that we have seen Bo talk about that he likes, one of the things we've seen on the field that Bo likes and has really succeeded with is going tempo and going fast. The Broncos did that in the first quarter against the Jets. And Bo Nix looked great. 11 for 1,301 yards, 1 touchdown. Was also the leading rusher for the Broncos with 11 rushing yards. And Bo has constantly admitted he likes that. It gets him in a rhythm. It gets him going. And so then why would you just not do that all the time?
Yeah.
I have no freaking idea. But let's hear Bo talk about, so he was great in the first quarter, died in the second quarter.
Sure did.
Did not show up in the third quarter. Literally, his first completion in the second half was not until 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That cannot happen, not just for Bo, but that can't happen for an offense. And as you see, you hear pulled up here, these are Bo Nix's stats going no huddle in this season. He's 18 of 29 for 183 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 103.1 passer rating. He's playing better in no huddle than he is not in no huddle. And I want to see this more. And really quick, we got a clip from Bo talking about what changed from the first half to the second half. And essentially, I think he's screaming to Sean Payton without actually screaming in Sean Payton's face.
Yeah.
Give me more tempo. Let's hear from Bo after the game on the difference between the first half and the second half of this past game.
Yeah, we just didn't have those same plays. We weren't in a very good rhythm at all. And, first half we were going quick, getting the ball to different players, spreading the ball around, getting them in certain defenses where we get softer coverage. And then, obviously there in the second half felt kind of like the opposite. A lot of run-heavy looks, a lot of loaded boxes, and then just complete lack of rhythm. But thank goodness Evan got open on his man-to-man, and then it started to switch. And that drive, we were able to do just enough, getting in a little bit of a rhythm, and spread the ball around enough to go down and get points. But just kind of felt like a tale of two different halves, with what we were doing.
Please. He's screaming it to you, Sean. Go more up-tempo. Now, you probably won't do it 100% of the game, and that's not what I'm asking for. But do it a lot more than you are right now. And it doesn't have to be like you're switching your offense where right now you're saying we're only going to go up tempo we're going to go up tempo for the rest of the entire season. No, but week by week, and just see if Bo gets more comfortable doing other things as well, but give him what he's comfortable with.
Right, and like you said, keeps the defense on their heels, like keeps them playing off the line of scrimmage a little bit more because you don't want to be super aggressive because you have to think quickly. And for an offense that struggles downfield, I think is probably fair to say, and thrives on like the little 5-yard throws, getting the defense to sit back a bit kind of does let you do those things that you like to do. So I could get behind it. Just got to do something. Like it's so ugly. I went through. I watched all the runs this morning from the last game, and it's just like last year, where it's just every single play there's just one thing where you're just like, it's his fault, or like J.K. Dobbins. You watch him run and you're just like, picked up 5 yards there. I've seen him run for a month now. I know he's capable more of that. He can make a little move. He can get through that whole faster. It could have been 10 yards. There's, Bo Nix, the edge is wide open. It looks like he could have pulled this one on the read option, taken it. Instead, you're stuffed on the other side. Like it's everybody pointing to. I think the first run of the game was the toss where you just don't get Courtland Sutton, just doesn't quite get control of his block, and it's just across the board. There's little things that aren't clicking. The passing game is a little more complex, but you go up tempo, maybe give him to sit back, and you can carve him up underneath. It's worth a try.
Yeah, and also something you mentioned yesterday, J.K. Dobbins likes running out of shotgun, and typically when you go no huddle up tempo, you're in more shotgun. So this isn't just for Bo, it's for everyone. And one other thing that I need to see, this isn't a change, but one thing that I need to see is way better offensive line play. And we saw that in the first couple of weeks. We saw it a lot last year, that this offensive line is a really good offensive line, but they are not just the strength, they're the heart. The Broncos offense has to have their offensive line play good. You cannot be a good offense with this offense specifically without really good offensive line play. They were really bad last week, including your number one guy with Quinn Meinerz. He was not good. He got beat on the play that turned into a safety. That wasn't just the only play that he wasn't good. I think he'll be the first one to tell you that he wasn't good, but it was the entire offensive line. And as Sean said after the game, it was not just Matt Parrott that struggled. It was the entire offensive line. If the Broncos want to have a competent offense, let alone good, great, or elite, it starts up front. The Broncos offensive line cannot have games consistently like they did this past week.
Yeah. I mean, for Parrott, it was the pass protection that was ugly, and I mean that's just gonna stick out. And for Quinn too, obviously. I mean, the big play is the holding penalty for the safety. It's tough. I actually haven't gone back and watched that one now that I think about it. I wonder if he could have gotten away without holding him, or if he just would have been tackled. I don't know why I haven't done that. I guess I've been a little busy. The other stuff though, it's just not connecting, and everything seems like it's so close to working. I feel better knowing that I've seen it work before. When they run like their, I don't know what they call it, like this pin and pull, they get the two pullers around, and those pin down blockers. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to not let them outside. But just wins a little too fast. It's like it's Quinnen Williams, and so sometimes that happens, or there's just bad timing on, they run a trap play and the defense blitzes on that play. And it's just like, that's just bad luck that they called a blitz on that one. But every single play, I shouldn't say every single, of the 24 runs, there were probably like 6 or 7 you look at and say like, oh, just fine, or maybe even pretty good. But otherwise, there's 16 other plays where you say, this one's on JK, this one's on Bo, this one Quinn screwed up, this one whatever, this time this guy got and next thing you know, everybody screwed up a run, and that means that you just aren't as effective as you had been in previous weeks.
Yeah, and I think that that Sean Payton is getting too much heat for his play calling in the past 72 hours after this game. I do think it's a lot more on the players. One thing that I do think that Sean Payton can do better is either choose one of the blocking schemes and go with it. I think you're trying to do too much, and it's either confusing the offensive line. They just can't do both, but you got to pick one and really focus on that one more. And so obviously one of those is a zone blocking scheme. And Henry, the zone blocking scheme makes me think of our good friends over at Game Time because they've got the zone deal, which saves you even more. When you choose the section and you let Game Time choose the seats, that will save you money right there. Also, priority fees are included, so you know your total up front. There's no surprise fees at checkout. And my favorite about Game Time, it is such an easy app to use. And if you download the Game Time app and use code DNVR, it's not only going to be the easiest app to use, you're going to get $20 off by using that code DNVR over at Game Time. And again, I just love, you see exactly where your seats are. It's such an easy interface to use right there. They have the low price guaranteed, where Game Time will give you 110% of the difference if you find a better price somewhere else. And they've also got the Game Time ticket coverage, where your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service in the industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets and go to Game Time, download the app, use that code DNVR. Terms and conditions apply. Use that code DNVR for $20 off. Tap ticket. Go download the Game Time app today.
And shout out to End Credit Union. I got to take a little scooter ride this morning, and I just pulled up to a stoplight, and there was an End Credit Union car right next to me. And it was like this good-looking thing, and everywhere had the logos, and of course all the Broncos branding, because they are the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos. It was pretty cool. I looked at the guy and kind of waited for him to make eye contact. So I was like, I don't know, maybe is this the guy who knows our show and does all this stuff? He did not seem to be. Either that or he just didn't care that I was on the scooter next to him. And Credit Union is the best, though. Also, then on the drive from home to here, got to go past the mural. As the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos, they have a Broncos checking account. Every 15 swipes on your Broncos checking debit card enters you for a chance to win home game tickets. You also get a limited edition Bo Nix card that is available now.
Yep.
And I believe is in my pocket.
Dang, you're just taking the company card home with you.
That's
I
just
love
the
it.
thing about this wallet is, sorry, it's pretty heavy. There's a lot of pounds in it. Pretty good, right?
Yeah,
this
good.
card right there. 10% off food and gear on game days in Power Field. No surprise fees. If you're ready to bank like a Bronco, head over to ent.com/DNVR, ent.com/DNVR to learn more. Insured by NCUA, membership required. Account requires associate Ent Broncos debit card.
And shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Do we have Baldy with us? Okay, as we wait for Baldy, I want to make everyone aware of what's going on this weekend in Broncos country and this entire weekend, which is going to accumulate at halftime of the Broncos-Giants game. Really cool event. The Broncos are hosting the 10-year reunion of the Super Bowl 50 team. I've heard that I think like over 45 players are going to be there. They're going to have Gary Kubiak there. I believe John Elway is going to be there, the GM. They're bringing back staff. They're bringing back coaches. The Broncos said over 150 people from this team and organization are going to be back to celebrate, which is so cool. And the part that's just going to make it so emotional is Demaryius Thomas is going to be officially put and inducted into the Ring of Fame. He's going to have his statue outside. That's going to be unveiled before the game. Then he's going to be have his Ring of Fame displayed in the stadium at halftime. And the Broncos just put out a cool tweet. They have remember a couple of years ago to honor him, they put the 88 painting on the field.
Yeah.
They did that exact same thing this week on their practice field, which is awesome.
It is.
You hear, if you want to pull that up, the Broncos tweeted it. It's their most recent tweet.
Wow.
Like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Interesting. Because I guess a lot of those you put it on like the yard line, but there's no 88. So I guess you kind of just fit it in wherever.
Exactly. And we'll continue. Yeah, we'll continue to talk about this because I just heard our guy Brian Baldinger call in. And let's get out to the hotline and talk to Baldy. How you doing, my friend?
Zach, I'm good, man. Good to be with you guys.
It's great to be with you, Baldy. And I just got to start off with the big question that we talked about yesterday, Baldy. This Broncos defense was unreal against the Jets, and they've been unreal in many ways throughout this season. And we're starting to have the conversation like, can this be a historic all-time defense led by this pass rush. Is it too early to ask that, or are we seeing signs where, man, this defense can be that special?
Well, I think it can be special. I was just checking one thing. Obviously 30 sacks in 6 games is, they're on some kind of record pace right now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if the Bears or, somebody has it.
Yeah, someone's got 72 and the Broncos are on pace for 84.
Yep, 84 Bears.
Okay. The only thing I would say is that I remember Deion Sanders told me this a long time ago. He said the only great defense is a scoring defense. And while they're sacking the quarterback, they're not getting the takeaways or the scores that we saw them do last year. And I think, it's one thing, okay, get the quarterback down, get Justin Fields 9 times, 7 of the 9, just 3 or 4 man rush. They didn't have to blitz to do it. But I would say that while guys are enjoying this feast right now, especially what they did against the Jets, I would say that there's more to be gleaned from this pass rush right now.
It's very fair.
Yeah. What did we decide yesterday? That at this point in the 2015 season, the Broncos defense had 17 turnovers?
Yeah, 17 takeaways. This year's Broncos only have 4 through 6 games.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, look, I mean, they're winning games and they're playing good defense, and they got a 3-game win streak. I think they've given up an average about 10 points a game the last 3 weeks, which is good. But I would say like that's the next step. If I'm Vance right now, I'm preaching takeaways, getting the ball out, getting the ball on the ground. Like there's more to do right now because it is a great pass rush, and they got 2 guys that scream off the edge. Even Ellis right now is really coming on, and so getting Malcolm Roach back in the middle makes a difference. So the depth is there. So I would say that there's still more to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun because you even have the safeties getting in on it. Or you still have Justin Sternad with his 3 sacks at the middle. Ufunga, running backs can't block him.
The closer he is to the line of scrimmage, the better he is. Mm-hmm. Like he's just an aggressive player. He's an aggressive tackler, and so that's his game. I mean, his idol is Troy Polamalu, and that's how Troy played the game. And he kind of models his game a little bit after that. And there are days and times when he reminds you of Troy.
Yeah, exactly. And did you have something, Henry?
Sure. So I'm curious Jahdae Barron isn't on the field all that much, the Broncos' first-round pick. RJ Harvey has a little bit of a role, but hasn't been all that explosive outside the one big run in week 1. Pat Bryant maybe a little bit into the mix, but not on the field all that much. You kind of go through all the Broncos rookies. They aren't getting many contributions. Should we be concerned about that rookie class as of right now?
No, not yet. I mean, it's a long season. You can't take Jaquan off the field. He's too good. And so where are you going to put Jahdae? I'm just saying, there's going to be an opportunity with injuries or whatever. There's that's that. J.K. has been great until last week, but I don't know if any running back would have been good the way that they blocked the Jets. They couldn't get to the Jets linebackers all day. And so if you don't block the second level, you're not going to gain a lot of yards. Mm-hmm. And so, and so I don't know that there's great need yet, but that's okay. There's it's a long season. There's going to be opportunities for those guys, and I think there's a lot of football yet to be played because I think the whole 3 of them are going to be good players. But I just think right now it's early still, and the veterans that are in those spots are playing good.
Baldy, on Sunday in London, the Broncos defense was absolutely lights out. But on the flip side, the offense really, really struggled. And some people in Broncos country are starting to panic. Where is your worry level with the Broncos offense, and what needs to change in order for it to get better?
Well, I mean, there's a couple issues they had last week. They were 5 of 15 on third downs. So they weren't, and then if you look at the third downs they missed, I mean, you're not going to convert a lot of 3rd and 15s, 3rd and 14s, 3rd and 10s. And they were in those situations a lot. Some of that had to do with, bad first down runs, penalties, those kind of things. I didn't think Matt Parrott, he's just not a guard. Like he played guard, but he's not a guard. And so he's been in this league. It's primarily a tackle. I was a little surprised to see him in there. Like he just doesn't move well enough. You've got to get, you looked at Francisco, and Jamie and those linebackers, they just they weren't blocked for most of the day. And so they cleaned up and give the Jets credit right there. But I thought they won the line of scrimmage throughout the day. So that was one thing. And then the third third and longs. Those are just tough situations right there.
So, Baldy, I got to follow up with you on Matt Parrott. He went on IR yesterday because he got injured in the game. So the Broncos are going to be on their third different starting left guard in 3 straight weeks this coming week. Is that something that Sean can scheme to really help protect, or is this something that the Giants and every other team moving forward in the next couple weeks are really going to not just key in on, but be able to take advantage of?
Well, it's a league-wide issue right now. It's just depth on the offensive line. I mean, both the Chargers last week were playing third-team offensive tackles. One guy just got pulled off the street, didn't even go to camp, and started. Bobby Hart just started. So, I mean, look, they've got Throckmorton there. I mean, he's played guard for Sean in New Orleans. He knows he knows this offense. You've got Palczewski. I know they like him as the third tight end, but one of those guys is going to step in and play. So I feel like whatever they do, I think actually if they play one of those two guys, now there might be somebody else off the practice squad or depth chart I'm not familiar with at this point. But I would say that either one of those players is going to be an upgrade over what I watched Matt Parrott last week.
Yeah. We get to talk about Palcho a little bit during training camp because every year we say, like, oh, look at this guy. Like, it looks like at some point he's going to be a starter somewhere. And now he finally gets the opportunity. He got to start a couple times last year for McGlinchey when McGlinchey had the ankle thing going on. Do you see a world in which Palczewski could show up and look like a starter, and next thing you know, he's a starter maybe in Denver next year or somewhere else?
Well, it happens all the time where guys get an opportunity to play. I mean, the only way to get better is to play. And so, spot duty is fine, and you can fill in here and there, but the only way to become a starter is to show that you can play with the consistency you need to be in there. It's great that you can look good for a play here, play there, but one sack, a penalty. I mean, you're not sleeping at night, and it's a miserable day. It's about consistency. I believe he can, because I feel like when he run blocks, he stays attached to the defender, and I've seen enough of him in pass protection where I think he's pretty good. But the only way to really know it is to throw him in there and let him sink or swim. And live with it, and let them. If there's growing pains, there's growing pains. Nobody is a finished product when they step on the field at one of those positions. The guard position is becoming more difficult because the defensive tackles are getting bigger and stronger and can push the pocket. There's a lot going on with all this stunting, depending on who you're playing against, that you got to see a whole lot. And then in the perimeter game, you got to be able to handle, these linebackers and safeties that are up there at the line of scrimmage. You got to be athletic enough to run with them and chase them. So there's a lot going on there at that guard position, in addition to just being able to move big people. So the only way to know that is to throw him in there and see what he can do.
Man, no one talks football better than Baldy, but especially offensive line. And Baldy, I got to ask you about a team that is close to you, the New York Giants. Is this just a fun story with Jackson Dart and crazy Cam Scadaboo, or are they a legit team that can come into Denver and beat the Broncos?
It's going to be a tough assignment. I'm not going to lie, but they have beaten the Eagles and beaten the Chargers, and I believe when they beat both those teams, well, the Eagles had a loss, but regardless, they've beaten the Chargers and beaten the Eagles. Yeah, and they kept the Eagles to 17 points, and they scored 5 touchdowns. That was an election, and they've had 10 days to get ready. Those two guys have just electrified the entire organization. They play the game the right way. Scadaboo is a very tough guy to tackle. I mean, you really got to gang tackle that guy. He's just too low to the ground. He's just too much of a bowling ball. And Jackson Dart, I said from the beginning, the Giants should have just played him like the Denver played Bo Nix, and just live with it and let him grow into the position, because he's got all the skills to be a good player in this league. You got to count for him, and I'm interested to see what Vance does this week. He's a very good runner, whether it's a design run or a scramble. And I'm anxious to see what Vance does to contain some of those runs, because he's run for 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games right up the middle. And, nobody's laid a glove on him. And so I don't think Denver wants that to happen again, because if he does that early in the game like he has, that team just gets really, really confident about what they're doing.
Yeah, great point.
I mean, Cam Scadaboo terrifies me. So as a Montana Grizzlies fan, he powered a comeback when he was at Sacramento State back in the day. You see that. You watch him in the Big Sky. You watch him at Arizona State. Now he's doing it with the Giants. He just seems like he's unstoppable. Like, there's no way to get that guy on the ground.
Well, I mean, if you go back and watch that playoff game, Arizona State and Texas, I mean, that's Texas that had as good a defense there was in the country, and they couldn't tackle him. And I knew he was going to be a problem. Like, I knew this was a good running back class, but he was a problem to tackle. He just has unbelievable balance. He's built low to the ground, and he's just tougher as can be. And he's explosive. I mean, he's an excellent player. He puts his head into people, and he uses himself as a battering ram. Like, he's pushing the pile now. And you get him down the goal line, he is the tush push, for the Giants right now. So, you've got to get his legs. If you don't wrap his legs up, he's just going to stay on his feet. He's going to fight he's not going out of bounds. That's not going to happen. And he also is good, in the screen game. And so you have to account for him like that, but you better get a bunch of bodies to him to get him to the ground.
Yeah, I can't wait for the first time Ufunga and Scadaboo collide. Just see what happens.
That'll be some good collisions.
Yes.
And Baldy, it's always a great conversation when we get to talk to you. No one does it better. Love every single Baldy's breakdown that you've got going on. And Baldy, we may need, the Broncos may be calling you if Palcho's the left guard and he gets hurt. I mean, you might need to be the Broncos guard then.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sean's got something else up his sleeve before he makes the phone call.
Well, thank you, Baldy. We love your analysis, and we look forward to talking to you next week.
See you guys, man. Take care.
Right on. Great stuff from Baldy, as always there. Man, he, in a damning honest way, he made me feel better about the Broncos left guard spot, essentially saying just how bad Matt Parrott was, and anyone, I mean, his words, anyone will be better than him.
Yeah. There's a large group of us Palcho believers, with Baldy being the one who deserves for people to listen to him the most. And I think that there's a chance that 2 months from now we're looking back and saying like, oh wow, Broncos have Palcho. Like, you move on from Powers, you save some money there, you free up the money to do whatever else you're trying to do, bring in a receiver, keep JFM. And again, the big storyline this season is obviously, do the Broncos make a run in the playoffs? Can they win the AFC West? But I think the Palcho storyline could be right up there. You just got to get off the ground in the next couple weeks.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Great analysis from Baldy and Henry. And let's now turn the page to the Giants and officially open the book to them after Baldy kind of set us up for what they are. And let's do that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Shady Rays. Henry, we sit on this set every single day.
We do.
And we have the brightest lights there in front of us. I need Shady Rays. I just might need to wear Shady Rays for this set. But also when I leave, because we're at Broncos practice, it's starting to get a little chilly right now, but it is still as sunny as can be in Colorado. And if you need sunglasses, you need snow goggles, you need anything, Shady Rays has got them for your eyes. The awesome thing about Shady Rays, polarized sunglasses, and they're already affordable. Shady Rays isn't putting crazy price tags on their sunglasses like a lot of other companies are. And then not only that, so they start affordable, they're going to give you 35% off if you use the code DNVR over at ShadyRays.com. That's code DNVR over at ShadyRays.com to give you the best deals on the best sunglasses off there. Try for yourself those shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people at ShadyRays.com.
And shout out to our friends
Taco Bell.
At Taco Bell. I clicked on the last break. Taco Bell is the best. It might be a Taco Bell day today. Again, that's up to Lexi, which is why I think it's even more likely to be a Taco Bell day. They just have so much good food. Whether it's the new chicken cantina menu. Computer was struggling. The KTA chicken menu with the flavorful chicken, slow roasted, with the spices like garlic, onions, a variety of chilies, premium ingredients like the shredded purple cabbage. Of course, there's also the classics. And if you want to pick up some of the classics, the best way to do it is with the $7 Buffs box. Has 4 Taco Bell classics, large drink, CU Buff player collectible cup. They're a sponsor, CU Athletics. They're donating $1,000 to the Golden Buffalo Scholarship Fund for every touchdown CU scores. So get yours today. Buffs love the bell.
Buffs love the bell. We love the bell. We love you who are tuning in with us right now. And what I want the Twitter chat and everyone tuning in with us after the fact to do is tell us who you're most scared of the Giants. Is it Scattaboo? Is it
on the football field, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, on the football field.
Not
against
just
the
like
Broncos.
I'm going to wake up one night. He's
yeah. I think we all know who that answer would be right there. It's funny how he's like. So he's like scary but beloved, and just like I mean, he reminds me of Peyton Hillis, where he just went off and like the whole country was just like, this guy came out of nowhere, kind of. The crazy thing about Cam is like he's always been great at the FBS level. Like you said, he beat your Montana Grizzlies. And the next level up, he takes ASU from nothing. Literally, I think they were the worst ranked team in the preseason polls to the college football playoffs. He's a hell of a player, yet I don't know if he's slow, if it's something else, but he falls to the fourth round. The Giants get him, and now two guys who didn't start the season as starters are now just leading this team. So let me know who you're most afraid of. Also, like John Joda says, he's most afraid of the Giants defense, which they do have pieces. That's fair. Brian Burns is an incredible passer.
With Abdul Carter, with Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that front is scary.
It's scary. The front is scary. The Giants defense, though, not having the best year right now. I mean, I think they are bottom 10 in scoring defense. They're bottom 10 in yards allowed. They're bottom 10 in yards per play. They're bottom 10 in run defense. They're bottom 10 in pass defense. But they do still have some players. So I'm not trying to overlook them, but I also don't want to fearmonger. They do have players, though, and I think Brian Burns is second in the NFL in sacks, only one sack behind Nick Bonito, but Bonito has 8, Brian Burns has 7, so that's someone. Do not let Brian Burns beat you here. And then also don't let the rest of the front. And Dexter Lawrence going up against your third-string left guard, I like Palcho too, but man, that could be a disaster. So,
wow.
I think he's been really bad.
There were a couple times in this week that were not my favorite.
We're looking at the guard position, which I think that it's fair. That's where you got to replace. But Luke Waterberg has also not been very good.
I would agree.
I
was excited.
People are saying that he is third in sacks, but one sack behind Nick Bonito. So still pretty damn good.
Still pretty good. And like Baldy said, you get the whole Scattaboo Jackson Dart thing going, and it just invigorates everybody. Like there's a level of like heart and care, and like this is now a Cam Scattaboo team, and you know exactly what that is. And the effect isn't like a Tebow team where it's like, yeah, we're gonna play hard and physical, and we just know we're gonna pull out in the end. But there's like there's a level to that. And the past few weeks, the Giants defense has been a lot better.
Yeah.
Gave up over 400 yards in each of the first 2 games. Past 4 weeks, haven't done it once. Like they're starting to figure some things out. They have an identity now. They know what they're playing off of. I'm not sure if the stats back it up, but Abdul Carter looks like he's just kind of everywhere now. And it's just that front. Like, what do you do when you have Brian Burns going crazy? Abdul Carter's #1 pick. You still got Kayvon Thibodeau there, who he's not hurt, is he? I thought he got banged up in one of these games I was watching. But I'm like, that's just that's tough to handle.
Yeah, and it is tough to handle. And they are 2-1. They're like you said, they're a totally different team since Jackson Dart got into the lineup with Russell Wilson. They were 0-3. They were scoring 37 points in one game, and then Henry, their other 2 points, they scored 15 points combined.
Yeah,
like just disaster. The other 2 games outside, of course, that crazy Dallas Cowboys overtime thriller game. But with Jackson Dart, they are a much more balanced team on offense. On defense, it's crazy to wrap this around your head. They have beat the Chargers and they have beat the Eagles, 2 really good teams. They've lost to the Saints. That's the Saints' only win of the season was that game with Jackson Dart playing. And the reason was, 1, their defense didn't get a single takeaway. And their offense turned the ball over not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 times. And so that's been the feast or famine for really any NFL team, but specifically this one. In their 2 wins with Jackson Dart, they haven't turned the ball over a single time, and they have 4 takeaways on defense in those 2 games combined. So it's going to be about not losing it yourself. And that's typically what it happens when you play a rookie quarterback. And Jackson Dart, He is he's the third quarterback in NFL history to have 3 straight 50-yard rushing games to start his career.
Okay.
Do you know who he joins? Who the other
Cam
two are?
Newton?
No.
Oh. He put up big passing numbers.
Yeah, you can guess.
Jaden Daniels?
Bo Nix.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's one of them.
Josh Allen?
The other one's in the NFL right now.
Oh, in the NFL right now.
Starting. Very good.
Starting?
Yeah, very good.
He's very good.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert?
No.
Bo Nix?
No.
No.
Josh Allen?
No. You guys are going to not be pleased with yourself when you
Yeah.
think of this.
It's going to be Patrick
A
Mahomes.
starting running quarterback. That's
Jalen Hurts.
yeah,
of course.
It's a
The
pretty
fullback.
impressive company.
Oh, you said
from Jackson
quarterback,
Dart.
not running back. That's what we were
Oh,
confused.
come on, get out of here. And so I think it is all about turn this team into a passing team.
Yep.
Contain Cam Scattaboo and contain Jackson Dart in the pocket, and then make Jackson Dart a rookie, beat you in Mile High with this fan base, with this secondary that he has to throw to. Remember, no Malik Neighbors. He's done for the season. Now, I will give credit to Wan'Dale Robertson because he's having a heck of a season, especially once Malik Neighbors went out. But do I think that Wan'Dale is going to take over this game? No, I don't think so. So for me, that's what the Broncos need to do. They just need to contain this running game.
Yeah. I mean, and they should be able to do it. I mean, 111 passing yards from Jackson Dart against the Chargers, 195 against the Eagles. Better, but
Yeah.
what he is a guy who scares you with his legs. You throw him in the read option, and it makes it really tough to defend both those two guys. Within structure, he hasn't been great. Again, without much recollection of this Eagles game, which scares me a little bit to speak too much about all this. But having seen the 2 games before that, the thing is you just wind up thinking like, oh, edge rusher has him. He's going down. And he slips out and runs out. And on the second play, he hits a guy. And there's just that little magic factor there, which is scary. But I think the Broncos defense should be able to bottle everything up. I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Scattaboo winds up coming back to earth in this one. And to me, part of the defense when you play against the Giants is having an offense. And if the Broncos can just have a couple touchdown drives early, make the Giants feel like they need to be throwing the ball, trying to keep up, that'll get them out of what they want to do.
Yeah. It's a really good point. And man, this is a team that you don't want to be in a close game at the end of the game with. Now, the Broncos have got over the hump the past 2 weeks with close games, which has been so huge, I think, for their confidence and for fans just feeling comfortable that they can win close games. But man, you're playing a young team that has nothing to lose. They started the season 0-3. They're now 2-4. It's about the future. I wouldn't like that. So let's have this be a blowout. I mean, the Broncos are favored by 7 points in this game. That is a huge spread in the NFL. Vegas is saying the Broncos should take care of business, and this might be a game where you really want them to. Cam Scattaboo, his first game in the NFL, people were like, see, that's why he fell to the 4th round.
Yeah.
He's not good. He had 2 rushes for -3 yards. Since 45 rushing yards and a touchdown, 60 yards and a touchdown, 79 yards, 59 yards, and then last week, 98 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's just what he did through on the ground. In the air, he's added 12, 14, 61, 11, 45, and 12. So got to contain him out of the backfield as well.
Yeah, I mean, he gives them an identity, and that's a very valuable thing. You start the year with the identity being Russell Wilson's going to chuck the ball up to Malik Neighbors, and it worked at moments. Like Malik Neighbors was off to an insane start, but that didn't fit the team. It didn't get the defense going for whatever reason. In their first win, you give the ball to Cam Scattaboo 25 times for 3.2 yards per carry. That's an identity play.
Yeah,
and you go
it
win
is.
that game. So they know what they're about. They're about winning in the trenches and playing physically, making quarterbacks make tough throws by kind of leaving their DBs kind of on islands back there, like guys who shouldn't be able to handle that job.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you do if you're the Broncos. If you say, okay, then we answer this by us opening it up and putting 40 on you, because I mean the Cowboys did
Please.
it. Like we should be capable of doing that, you would think.
Yep.
Or if you say like, hey, we can't risk being the team that makes one or two mistakes on those deep balls or starts taking sacks, gets behind and lets them get a lead and just run on us the entire game. So I'm curious to see what they come out in, whether they go heavy, whether they go with the tempo and try to play out of that shotgun. A weird decision for Sean. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, and as the Twitter chat said multiple times, please no fullback runs on 3rd and long. We don't need that in our play, but that one can come out. Shout out to everyone that is tuned in with us today, and shout out to the super chats and messages that we got, starting with Michael, who is celebrating 1 month of membership. Says, good morning, DNVR Sports. Let's go, Michael. Love that.
Yes.
Your badge got upgraded as well. Really cool to see.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. Stizix drops a super chat. We appreciate it and says, so far the season has gone exactly like it has in my Madden League.
Wow.
So unfortunately, prepare your hearts for a loss this week against the Giants. But after that, undefeated in Super
there we
Bowl.
go.
Would you sign up for that?
Of course.
A humiliating loss to the Giants this week?
In exchange for a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I would make that trade.
We're going into overtime, guys.
We're going into overtime. Go to ddnvr.com to continue the conversation in OT, where we got one more super chat coming in from our friend Just Him, who says, thank you here. I went to a school dance at Jackson Darts High School. I also live right next to it. And Zach Wilson also went there. I'll be at this game from Utah. Oof. Wow. Jackson Dart and Zach Wilson. I can see the similarities.
Yeah. What if Jackson Dart is just a faster Zach Wilson?
Well, then he's not going to be very good.
Fair.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what he is.
Yeah. I hope that's exactly what he is. I got another comp for you for Jackson Dart for tomorrow's show.
Okay.
We're going to break down everything we learned in practice today, because we're about to head out to Dove Valley right now and give our game picks, break down the biggest storylines. That is tomorrow at 11 a.m. We will see you there. Hit us with a thumbs up on the way out. We appreciate every single one of you. Happy Hump Day. Shout out to Jonathan Cooper for winning AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.